Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our regular scheduled council meeting, Tuesday, August 25th at 7 p.m. Ms. Clerk, if you'll call the roll, please.
Charlie Davidson,
Here.
John Wells,
Here.
Linda Westhafer,
Here.
Charles Schwenke,
Here.
Terry Osborne,
Here.
Troy Hill,
Here.
Brandy Bailey,
Here.
Jim Schrader.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. If you'll please stand, Councilman Davidson will lead our invocation, and Councilman John Wells will lead our Pledge of Allegiance.
You bow your heads with us. God, just thank you for this night that we have to come and gather and just do business here in Park City. I pray that your presence is with us. And Lord, you give wisdom and guidance to the council and the mayor as we continue to guide this city. Lord, and I pray that we do all this in your glory. I pray for protection of our police officers and those that serve our community. Thank you for the staff here. You continue to give them safety and wisdom as they continue to help make this city grow. In Jesus' precious and holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, council, first, need an approval of the agenda. Charlie Davidson.
I move to approve the agenda.
And Terry Osborne.
Second.
All right, any further discussion on the agenda? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. Thank you. Awards and presentations. I don't believe we have any tonight. Have nobody signed up for public forum and staff reports. Thank you, Gina.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have just a few quick tidbits of information, what we've been doing at Public Works so far this year. So in the last 3 months, we've replaced 5 fire hydrants and repaired 15, getting them off of the fire department's defect list. We've repaired 2 water service lines and 1 water main. We've replaced a water valve, which is a first for our crews in the last several years. None of them have had an experience with that, so it's a pretty big accomplishment that we've hit the point that we can replace our own water valves on those mains. In the last 6 months, we've answered 875 phone calls at Public Works. We've installed 20 new water meters for new construction homes, and we've completed 1,850 locates, varying in size and complexity. Just to give you some context, a locate could be, I want to plant a tree and I need you to mark this small radius, or a locate could be, I'm building a brand new hotel and I need you to mark 10 acres. So they can vary quite a bit, but even at that, 1,850 in the last 6 months is quite a few to tackle. Year to date, we have worked 655 internal work orders, and we have swept 1,200 miles of streets with our sweepers. So definitely getting some stuff accomplished in-house with our crews. I do have Ryan here tonight, our Assistant Public Works Director. He's going to give you guys an update on our sewer maintenance contract that we had recently approved with UMC.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to update you guys and let you know that sewer maintenance has been completed. It took UMC roughly about 5 weeks to clean the 74,000 linear feet of sewer main in the areas that we chose. I really need to applaud our staff. They had to go out and search for approximately 350 manholes. In doing this, we found that there were several of them that were buried underground, some of them 2.5 feet. So they're out in 100-degree temperature trying to find these manholes, get them marked so they can come through and do the cleaning. In doing this, during the cleaning process, UMC didn't find any major issues. There was a few areas where they found some small root balls that they pulled back. That's an indication of cracks in the pipe or slip joints, which would be perfect candidates for lining of the sewer main. Other than that, there was one other manhole that we're going to further investigate, possibly do manhole rehab on. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next.
Sir, if
Sorry.
I may, part of the reason why I wanted them to give that report is the contract that we signed on this was a 5-year contract. So every year, they're going to take 1/5 of the city and take it, look at it, scope it. The one that gave us the most caution was this year, because you're talking everything from Ravina south to 61st Street, east of Hydraulic, as well as west of Hydraulic, the Horseshoe area, and just to the south of 61st Street, south of the Horseshoe, the oldest part of our community. So if that's the 5th that they took care of this year, and they noted no major problems, that's very promising. So that's the reason why I wanted them to come up and say, that's good business, so.
Wow, great. I love the preventive measures for our infrastructure. That's
Yes, sir.
phenomenal. Thank you. And any hiccups or anything notable on the project on hydraulic that has the detour going? Everything, all good news in that too? While we're talking
I'll
good
let
news,
her
I'm
answer
ready
that
for
one.
some more.
No major hiccups. So we are getting ready, though, to close that frontage road detour for about 24 hours. So the detour everybody's gotten used to going northbound, we do have to close that in order to do the sewer tie-in. And so we will detour everybody over to the west on that Denver loop to Evanston, just for the one day, though. And then we'll get that frontage road opened back up. So Apex is the one doing the utility tie-in out there. They're able to work outside of the frontage road for the remainder of what they have to do, with the exception of that 124-hour period.
And remind me, what is the length of estimated length of time for the project to be?
So they have approximately 30 working days left.
Oh, wow.
So weather dependent, they still have about 6 weeks left on this. I know they're moving really quickly on hydraulic. I think last time we had talked, I'd indicated there might be a period of time where we're detouring on Randall. We are not going to end up detouring on Randall at all. Randall is slated to begin that FDR process on the 31st. We've started getting that notification out to the residents. So we're going to keep people off of that, keep them out of there. Once hydraulic is finished, that's when we will take that frontage road down and redo the boxes in there. And that's where I think you're going to see the biggest visual difference, where we have that big dip that's going to get filled in. And so it's going to be pretty flat ground where the sidewalk runs through there instead of having that big valley in between hydraulic and the frontage road.
Fantastic. Very nice. Do we, like the FDR you're talking about that's going to occur, once that's done, will they be starting on this year's projects? 'Cause wasn't that a last year's project?
That is a this year project. Yep, that is a this year project. So Pearson had last year's projects. APAC has this year's, doing the Randall. Of course, Andel's the sub on both of them, so they tend to move a lot alike and look a lot alike, but we do have a different general on this one. The two projects that have been approved that are still remaining would be 77th Street reconstruction. We are going a little slower on that than we would like. We're still waiting on the geotech samples to come back from Terracon. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bid out those frontage roads. The 61st Street frontage roads on the south side were the third piece that were approved. And so we've got the survey complete. Those will move pretty quickly to get out to bid. That way we're not holding that up with 77th Street. And then I would anticipate we're going to see construction span across 2026 and 2027 for 77th Street.
Fantastic. Independence turned out really well.
Yeah.
Wow, they did a great job on that.
Yeah, looks
And
great.
West Parkview, I know is blocked off right now too, and is that one also a 6-week?
Yeah, that should move at the same time period as hydraulic, if all goes well.
Oh, man, 6 weeks. We'll be
Yeah.
in great shape.
And I will say, Prado, at no cost to the city, upgraded from doing asphalt to cover those boxes to the concrete. And so I think that's giving us a much better look and a much better product on all of those crossings.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much for the update. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, council, next we have on the consent agenda. Terry Osborne.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, John Wells.
I second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. On to new business. Hold a public hearing to exceed the revenue neutral rate and consider approval of a resolution. D.
Good evening, everyone. The combined notice of hearing to exceed the revenue neutral rate and budget hearing was published in the Ark Valley News on our website on August 6th, providing proposed estimated mill levy for the 2027 budget of 42.392 mills. That's half a mil lower than last year's mill levy. Since this proposed levy exceeds the revenue neutral rate of 38.239 mills, some additional steps are required prior to holding the budget hearing, which is our next agenda item. You may have noticed that the amount of the 2027 total budget of all the funds in the notice of public hearing is quite high at $84.9 million as compared to the 2026 budget of $45.4 million, an increase of $39.5 million. $32,755,000 of that increase is due to the budgeted payoff of the 2024 and 2025 temporary notes in the bond and interest fund. Unfortunately, the notice of hearing only shows expenditures, so the public does not see that we also budgeted an equal amount of revenues from the bond proceeds, which results in a net impact of 0. There was also a $6 million increase in the general fund expenditures due to a budgeted transfer of excess sales tax to projects. Please realize that the overall budget total for all the city's funds is always much higher than actual expenditures because we budget contingency amounts just in case something unexpected happens. And we are also required to budget the full cash carryover in the mill levy funds, even though we don't intend to spend it. Council is required to hold a public hearing tonight on the mill levy to hear public comments, and then before closing the hearing, consider adoption of a resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate. The law requires that the resolution be approved with a roll call vote. A copy of the resolution, a certified copy of the roll call vote form, and other budget documents will be placed on the Kansas Department of Administration's website with a conspicuous link on their front page. Again, staff recommends holding a public hearing on the mill levy for the 2027 budget, and after hearing from interested taxpayers with the public hearing still open, consider approval of the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate. The state and Sedgwick County Clerk have stressed the importance of reading the motion exactly as stated on the agenda due to a school board member in the past failing to state the word exceed in the motion on the R&R. Even though the intent of that board member and all the other board members was to exceed the R&R, they lost the litigation and had to refund all the taxpayers the amount that exceeded the R&R. So that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Thank you. First, I'll open the public hearing at 7:14 to exceed the revenue neutral rate and also to approve the mill levy for the 2027 City of Park City budget. Council, do you have any questions for D or any discussion over the budget? Is anybody in attendance would like to come forward and speak about the revenue neutral rate and us exceeding that, or the conditions of the Park City budget for 2027? Jeopardy music. All right, seeing nobody and nobody is lit up, I will leave the public hearing open and entertain a motion. Terry Osborne,
I move to approve Resolution 1296, 2026 to exceed the revenue neutral rate for the City of Park City 2027 proposed budget.
okay, Charlie Davidson,
Second.
okay. We have a motion by Terry and seconded by Charlie. And this will be a roll call vote. Ms. Clerk?
John Wells,
Aye.
Linda Westhafer,
Aye.
Troy Hill,
Aye.
Brandy Bailey,
Aye.
Terry Osborne,
Aye.
Charlie Davidson,
Aye.
Charles Schwenke,
Aye.
Jim Schrader.
Aye.
That motion passes 8-0. Next, we hold I'll close the public hearing at actually 7:16. And move to item 2, is hold a public hearing and consider approval of the 2027 Park City budget.
For the 2027 budget will be 2 mills lower than before the 1-cent sales tax was approved, since each of the 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027 budgets were reduced by 1/2 mil each. Our 2027 budget will therefore be $374,301 less than it would be if we hadn't reduced the mill levy in each of those 4 years. The 2027 total expenditures published were based on budget version number 4, which we did distribute to you. As noted in the previous agenda item, the estimated mill levy is 42.392 mills, which is a 1/2 mil lower than last year's final mill levy. Staff recommends holding a public hearing on the budget, followed by approval of adoption of the 2027 City of Park City budget in the amount of $84,938,767, with an estimated mill levy of 42.392 mills. If the budget is adopted tonight, please stop by Marlowe's desk to sign the budget certificate before you leave tonight. Bless you.
Thank you. Dee, can you repeat the number you said about if we would not have reduced the mill levy?
Oh, $374,301.
And that's over the last, is it 4 years?
Yes. 2 mills total.
Thank you. All right. I will open a public hearing at 7:18. And if there's anybody that's present would like to come forward and speak on item 2, which is the public hearing to consider approval of the 2027 Park City budget, you may come forward. Also, while we're waiting on that, council, is there any further discussion on this? It's now 7:19. We'll leave the hearing open if I would entertain a motion. We can close the hearing on this one? Okay, we'll close the hearing on this one. 7:19, I would entertain a motion. Charles.
Make a motion to approve the adoption of the 2027 City of Park City budget in the amount of $84,938,767, with the estimated mill levy of 42.392 mills.
Thank you, Charles. John Wells.
I second the motion.
All right. Any further discussion on the budget? All right. We will call the vote. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion passes 8-0. We have a budget. Thank you. Item 3, consider ordinance adopting the 2024 edition of the Uniform Plumbing Code. Doug.
Mayor and council, currently the city operates under the 2006 Uniform Plumbing Code with several local amendments to that uniform code. There is now a 2024 edition of that same Uniform Plumbing Code. And in the opinion of the building official and his staff, That updated edition certainly fits the needs of the city and requires no local amendments. Their recommendation is that the 2024 edition of the Uniform Plumbing Code, as it is published, be adopted as the city's plumbing code, and that's what this ordinance does.
Thank you, Doug. Council, is there any discussion on this item? Jim Schroeder?
I don't have any questions on it, so I will make a motion to, I'll move to approve ordinance 1251-2026, an ordinance amending section 4-601 of the municipal code to adopt the Uniform Plumbing Code 2024 edition as the plumbing code of the city of Park City, Kansas, and repealing sections 4-602 through 4-628 and the original of section 4-601.
Thank you. John Wells?
I second that motion.
Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. This will be a roll call vote.
Troy Hill,
Aye.
John Wells,
Aye.
Linda Westhaver,
Aye.
Brandy Bailey,
Aye.
Charlie Davidson,
Aye.
Terry Osborne,
Aye.
Charles Swinky,
Aye.
Jim Schrader.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. Thank you. We'll move to item 4. Discuss and consider resolution determining the advisability of the making of certain internal improvements in the city of Park City, Kansas, making certain findings with respect thereto, and authorizing and providing for the making of the improvements in accordance with such findings. And this would be a traffic signal at 77th and Wyandotte Way, which is right at the entry point to the fire station and I want to say the casino,
Gillies.
Gillies Casino,
Crosswind.
and also the Crosswind Casino. So, Sean.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. The attached petition was filed with the city clerk proposing traffic improvements to 77th and Wyandotte Way. It was signed by the owners of record of more than one half of the area liable for the assessment for the proposed improvements, and therefore the petitioners requesting such improvements be made without notice and hearing as required by KSA 12-6A01. The improvements include constructing a traffic signal on 77th Street at its intersection with Wyandotte Way to serve the area described as the improvement district, all in accordance with city standards, plans, specifications prepared for and approved by the city engineer. The estimated or probable cost of the proposed improvements is $366,000, with said estimated cost increased on a pro rata basis of 1% per month from and after the date of the adoption of the resolution. The improvement district to be assessed for the cost of the improvements is Lot 1, Block 2 of Wyandotte Development Addition, which is the southwest corner, the parcel owned by Kansas Pavilions LLC, which is the northwest corner, and then the parcel owned by Ruffins Property LLC, which is the northeast corner. Both of those are of the Coliseum Park 2 addition. The method of the assessment is a fractional basis as described below. Each one of those lots would be assessed 1/3 of the total cost payable of the improvement district, provided that the total assessment to the property will not exceed $100,000. The proposed apportionment of the cost of the improvements between the district and the city at large is 75% to be assessed against the improvement district and 25% to be paid by the city at large, provided that the total cost assessed to the improvement district will not exceed $300,000, and the balance of the cost in excess of that amount would be paid by the city at large. The city's portion is 25% up to $400,000. Anything above and beyond that, the city would also be responsible. Each one of the individual property owners were willing to participate, but they wanted to have a limit as far as what they would. So right now at $366,000, each one of them are projected to pay right around $92,000. But again, we told them, fine, we'll limit it at $100,000. So that's the way it spreads out. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Sean. This is very much needed, especially as traffic picks up in that area. Jim?
I just was going to comment, I drive through this intersection, so it's pretty close to home, and yeah, traffic has definitely picked up out there, and we have more construction going on. I was just going to comment too that I thought it was a pretty creative and reasonable way to spread the cost out and have the people that are benefiting from the intersection to help pay for it, and it seemed appropriate to me.
Yes, sir.
Is that a motion?
If no one has any comments, I'll move to approve resolution, lost my way here. Resolution 1297-2026, a resolution determining the advisability of making certain internal improvements in the city of Park City, Kansas, making certain findings with respect thereto, and authorizing and providing for the making of the improvements in accordance with such findings, subject to letter of credit. This is for the traffic signal at 77th and Wyandotte Way.
Thank you, Jim. Charlie Davidson.
Second.
All right. Okay, motion by Jim, seconded by Charlie. Is there any further discussion on this? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 8-0. Next to item 5, discuss and consider resolution determining the advisability of the making of internal improvements within the city of Park City, making certain findings with respect thereto, and authorizing and providing for the making of the improvements in accordance with such findings. This would be a water distribution at Sartain Addition. Sean?
Yes, sir. Again, the attached petition was filed with the city clerk. The improvements include a water distribution system, including necessary water mains, pipes, valves, hydrants, meters, and appurtenances to serve the area described as the improvement district. The estimated or probable cost of the proposed improvement is $203,300, with the said estimate cost to be increased on a pro rata basis of 1% per month. The improvement district to be assessed is lots 1 through 4, Block A of the Sartain addition to the city of Park City, Sedgwick County. The apportionment of the cost of the improvements between the district and the city is 100% against the district and 0 against the city. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Sean. Jim Schroeder?
I only have one question. I just noticed this was for water only, so, let's see, yeah, water only, wasn't it? So just, was there no sewer and/or streets involved with this?
No streets involved, and as far as this, they would be required to either do septic or lagoons for
Okay,
sewer.
okay,
Pretty much cost prohibitive where the sewer line is out on the east side of Broadway. Pretty expensive to bore up under Broadway. We already have water on the west side of Broadway.
sure. And these are all pretty big lots, so,
Yes, sir. It
Don't
should
have-
just be 4 homes, 4 residential homes that are being built.
okay. Unless there's any other questions, I'll also move to approve Resolution 1298-2026.
Thank you, Jim. John Wells?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All right, motion by Jim Schroeder, seconded by John Wells to approve. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Same sign. Motion passes 8-0. Item 6, discuss and consider approval of annexation of Lot 1 Coliseum Booster Pump Station Addition. Sean?
Lot 1 of the Coliseum Booster Pump Station addition was originally platted and owned by Sedgwick County, and although ownership was transferred officially to the city some time ago, the property never officially was annexed into the city. So the attached ordinance just officially annotates that property is within the city limits. Said tract is just over 10,000 square feet, 0.247 acres. Staff recommends approval.
John, I was looking for the address on this and I couldn't find anything, but is this up at, across from the park at like 6800 North Hydraulic?
Yes, sir. This is just north of Ravenna. This is where the proposed hike and bike trail connecting to Hat McLean Park. That's where we're going to bring it in from the east side.
Okay.
That's where the old booster pump station used to be that was torn down about 8 months ago.
Thank you. Troy?
Nobody has any questions, I move to approve ordinance number 12 1252-2026, an ordinance including and incorporating certain lands within the limits and boundaries of the city of Park City, Kansas.
Thank you, Terry Osborne.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on that item? Okay, that'll be a roll call vote.
Jim Schroeder,
Aye.
Charles Schwenke,
Aye.
Charlie Davidson,
Aye.
Terry Osborne,
Aye.
Brandy Bailey,
Aye.
Linda Westhaver,
Aye.
John Wells,
Aye.
Troy Hill.
Aye.
That motion passes 8-0. Next, item 7, discuss and consider real estate purchase agreement for property located adjacent to 6110 North Hydraulic.
Back in January of 2020, council purchased 48.05 acres adjacent to City Hall to create the downtown district Park Center. Of that 48.05 acres, a small commercial lot, 0.669 acres, south of the former video store was broken out separately and purchased using Park City Land Bank funds of $72,000, $72,842.71. Since then, the ownership has been transferred to from the land bank to the city. Attached is a real estate purchase agreement to sell the property for $90,000. The physical impact is, again, when we bought it back in 2019, 2020 time period, it was just over $72,000, and if approved, the $90,000 would be an unbudgeted surplus.
Okay, council, if you'll remember, this was one we had an offer on several years back that we declined. And then we listed this property for, I believe, $100,000.
Yes, sir.
And it sat for a little bit. I felt like we had the upper hand on selling that property. I felt like where the property is, that it's best with the property owner to the north. And now they've come and given us an offer. So, Terry?
Yeah, I just noticed in the item, it said attached as a purchase agreement, but I did not see that one in our packet. Did I miss that in an attachment?
No, sir. Actually, after further consulting, we wanted to make certain that the owner's name was left private.
Okay.
Troy?
I move to approve and authorize the mayor to finalize and execute a contract and closing documents for the sale of the property located adjacent to 6110 North Hydraulic Avenue, Park City, Kansas.
Thank you, Troy. Jim Schroeder?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on it? All right. Motion by Troy Hill, seconded by Jim Schroeder to approve and authorize the mayor to sign. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Motion passes 7-1 with Brandy voting nay. Okay, next, discuss and consider an ordinance amending section 3-104 of the municipal code, consumption on public property.
Yes, sir. In 2019, the council adopted ordinance 1059, which prohibited the consumption of alcohol on city-owned public property while allowing an exemption for approved events when advance notice was provided to the city and alcoholic liquor or beer was served by a duly licensed caterer. The proposed ordinance amends section 3-104 by removing the specific reference to beer, cereal malt beverage, because now everything's 6-0, and eliminating the requirement that alcohol beverages be served exclusively by a duly licensed caterer. The amendment is intended to provide the city greater flexibility in determining when and under what circumstances alcohol consumption may be permitted on city-owned property. As Park City continues to grow and expands its recreational and community program, opportunities such as adult softball leagues, city festivals, special events, and activities at city's facilities may warrant allowing alcohol consumption without requiring a licensed caterer. The amendment does not create an unrestricted right to consume alcohol on city property. Rather, it provides the city the flexibility to authorize alcohol consumption for appropriate events and activities while retaining the ability to establish conditions and restrictions as necessary. And I provided also in the packet an initial draft of a proposed city policy. Staff has no recommendations on this one, sir.
Can you give us some examples of what permissive would be?
Well, our recreational director has talked about starting in the month of October of having a fall-time adult softball league, one night a week, Thursday nights, running 6 weeks. Most of the cities around that have adult softball leagues allow beer, liquor to be consumed in a general area around the softball field. The one thing that the policy does not include right now is we've sat down and talked with the recreation director as well as the police, coming up with how would we define that area? Because we didn't want to sit there and say, well, you're just going to open it up and allow alcohol in the park. There's nobody that needs to be drinking over in the playground area. But if a softball league wanted to have beer after a game in the parking lot or during around that time period, it would be okay. So that would be just one such event. We know that there's a car show that's coming up here in the next month, I believe, in September, that has also kind of requested that they would be allowed to do this. It would be done on a case-by-case basis, and when they would come forward, we'd have to sit there and look at, one, is it a city-sponsored event? Is it a private event? And depending on how that's determined, or what it's determined to be, would be what kind of safety requirements or limits we'd want to put on that, or what kind of restrictions. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Council, any questions on that, or tugs or concerns with doing this? Charles?
I think, like the two situations that you discussed, I've lived in other towns, obviously, and they had a no alcohol rule just like we do now, but the drinking went ahead and went on after ball games in the parking lot. It was kind of one of those things we just ignored, and there was never any big problems with it, Car shows normally have a lot of beer consumption at car shows. Whether it's legal or not legal, they're going to have beer consumption at car shows. It's just kind of the way it is. And I think a lot of times it's a better idea to make something like that legal where we can control it rather than ignoring it, And so I would be in favor of this.
Thank you. I'd really like to hear from everybody on this, because this is quite a change for our community. If you guys are willing, I'd like to hear everybody weigh in and see where you feel on it. Linda?
I agree with Charles. Like it's common everywhere else. People are doing it, whether they're announcing it or not. So having the ability to acknowledge it's happening and some considerations around it just gives us that favor as opposed to kind of not looking at it and addressing it. So I'm in favor of it for that aspect of it.
Okay. John Wells?
That's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. I've been around enough softball tournaments and volleyball tournaments and things in my life to see that, in leagues, to see that Charles is exactly right. The drinking's going to happen anyway. So I do like the fact that now we have a little bit of say and control in it. So I would be in favor of it as well.
Brandy?
That's exactly what I was going to agree with. Everything that they said is it does give us a little bit more flexibility into this, and we're seeing it happen more and more. City of Wichita specifically is doing it, lots of their areas. So I think it just puts us in line with some of the other cities as well.
Okay. Troy?
I personally don't have an issue with it. Sometimes I wonder about alcohol at car shows. I've been to thousands of car shows, and I've always taken a car there. And I've never had an alcoholic beverage because you gotta drive home, so hopefully, it's just people visiting. But no, I don't have an issue with this at all.
Okay. I've got a couple more lit up, and then Chief, I'd like to get your opinion as well on enforcement of it and things like that, but let me let the council finish first. Jim?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what the chief thinks also. I guess what dialed me in was the last paragraph written, which was, it doesn't create an unrestricted right to consume alcohol on city property, but it does provide the city the flexibility to authorize it and control it with restrictions as necessary. And it's a way to test this and see how it goes, and it can always be reeled back, but I don't have any problem with the drinking part. That's fine by me. So that's my opinion. I thought it was crafted carefully and correctly.
Thank you. Terry?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any issue with it. I'm looking forward to hearing from the chief as well, because my concern is control, enforcement, that's because it doesn't do any good if we can't enforce or control it, and how do we propose to do that?
Okay. Charlie?
Yeah, I'm in favor of it with the flexibility. I do want to hear from the chief, because I mean, my experiences, I know that there can be problems with alcohol involved in these types of situations, but I think if we have the flexibility and monitoring and control, then I think we can preempt those. So I wouldn't be not in favor, but I do want to see how it pans out.
Okay. So Chief, just to be clear, I'm not asking you for a recommendation on approval. I don't want to put you in that position, but my question is, and the council may have additional questions, but my question is on enforcement of it, or is this, paint a pretty clear picture of the ability to people that are breaking the rules or obviously get intoxicated, enough to where they're disorderly or something like that? Does this change the game or make anything more difficult for your folks?
Well, first of all, we had some discussions, Doug and Sean and myself, last week about, I had some concerns about the way it was originally worded in terms of enforcement, and Doug made some changes to the ordinance as a result of those discussions, and I think we're all on the same page. That satisfied my concerns anyway, as far as the enforcement. The administrative regulations or policy that's included has some important provisions in it, like no glass containers, age verification, things like that that address the concerns that the police department would primarily have about this in terms of the actual, how to carry it out, the policy. Those measures are going to reduce the problems that we would probably see. You'll never eliminate them. Alcohol, it adds another dimension to anything, and it's always a fraction of the people that are drinking. Most people drink responsibly, as you know. It's always a fraction, and those are the folks that we get to deal with, unfortunately. But I think that one recommendation I would have is that the police department review the application whenever police or private security is determined to be necessary. I'd like to see that be a condition of the permit, and the cost for that to be assessed. I don't think that it specifically says the cost would be assessed to the organization. So as opposed to the city bearing the load of that, I'd want to make sure that it would be I think that was the intent. It doesn't specifically say that. Other than that, I think that my concerns are addressed in the administrative policy.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Counselor, is there any further questions of the chief or discussion about this proposal? Charles. No, I'm sorry, John Wells.
If there's nobody has anything else, I would make the motion. Move to approve ordinance 1253-2026, an ordinance amending section 3-104 of the municipal code of City of Park City, Kansas, pertaining to the prohibition against possession and consumption of alcoholic liquor on city-owned public property and repealing the original of said section 3-104.
Thank you, John. Do I have a second? Linda?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, this will also be a roll call vote.
Charles Schwenke,
Aye.
John Wells,
Aye.
Troy Hill,
Aye.
Jim Schrader,
Aye.
Randy Bailey,
Aye.
Linda Westhafer,
Aye.
Charlie Davidson,
Aye.
Terry Osborne.
Aye.
The motion passes 8-0. All right, next we have council comments. I'll start with Charlie tonight.
I don't think I have anything tonight, thank you.
John Wells,
I think I'm good tonight as well.
Linda Westhoff,
Yeah, I got nothing.
Charles Schwenke.
I'm kind of pleased to see that the Mulholland Media that produces the Police 24/7 is going to monitor our police officers on certain dates. And we'll have some TV exposure on the CW channel. And I think that's positive for the city in a lot of ways. I think it's positive for the police force, their attitude. I think it's positive for the city to see what our actual police force do deal with. And I just think it's a win-win all the way around.
Fantastic, thank you, Charles. Terry Osborne,
Nothing for me.
Troy Hill.
I just want to kind of give a shout out to all the lifeguards and everybody at the pool. I know that's been a huge success for us. I know they're not open during the week, but just during toddler time and senior walk time that my wife is going to, which is funny to think about. But yeah, I think they did a fantastic job. I know the days are coming to end, but I look forward to next year.
Great, Brandy?
CCUA meets this week on Thursday at 4:30 in the Bel Air City Hall. And then I guess I do have a question, but there's a lot of talk going around the flock cameras. Have we discussed anything internally about the flock cameras we have here in the city?
No.
No, okay, just,
No, we have not. We do have a few, 10 or 12 dozen maybe.
We have 14 currently, I believe.
14? Man, it seems like a lot.
Jim?
Nothing to add tonight.
Okay. Very good. One thing I would ask, Chief, I think we're a little over a year since we implemented permitting UTVs, ATVs on the roads. I'm just curious if we could get just a little after action on how that's gone. If there's any adjustments to what we permitted, if there's been any incidents or anything like that, that I know initially everybody, well, not everybody, a few people kind of freaked out and thought it was going to be mass casualties, but I really haven't heard of any. So if we're doing fantastic and what we've got works great, I just want to hear that, but I also want to hear if there's been any hiccups or any incidents with it. Council, is there anything you guys would like to hear out of that?
No, that's good.
So I still have John Wells lit up. Is that old?
I was going to make a motion to adjourn.
Out of here, he says.
And wait.
Why do I feel like you weren't listening to me?
I heard you. I just didn't have anything else.
All right, John is making a motion to adjourn. Brandy?
I was going to respond to yours
I
first.
thought I was rude to him too. Thank
Yes,
you, Brandy.
yes.
Go ahead.
How dare you? In that request, did you ask how many did we issue licenses for?
Yeah, that would
was-
be a good number.
I'm
too.
just kind of interested to see how many we do have out there that have registered.
I know I've seen a few that have Valley Center and Park City that are coming from Valley, obviously, but that's fine too.
Yeah.
So Yes, that'd be great too. All right.
And
Brandy,
then I'd second the motion now.
all right, very good. Motion by John, seconded by Brandy to adjourn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we're adjourned.